Beloved, life is not a struggle, it is a game, and the game of life is governed by words, faith, and the unseen laws of spirit. Many believe money comes only by toil, by worry, by endless effort. But I tell you, money is but an idea in the divine mind, and ideas are inexhaustible. Supply is unlimited, and wealth flows in perfect channels when we align our words with truth. The secret is not in begging or pleading, but in speaking the word with unwavering faith, knowing that what we decree with conviction must come forth. The spoken word is a force, invisible yet irresistible, shaping every condition of our lives. When we speak with conviction, we call forth that which has been waiting for our recognition. Words are not idle, they are creative commands. What a man or woman repeats in thought and speech is what must inevitably appear in their affairs. If one continually speaks of lack, of poverty, of bills, then lack becomes the harvest. But when one speaks words of wealth, abundance, and thanksgiving, the universe rearranges itself to make those words flesh. It is not chance, but law. The law is exact, and it never fails. Money, though it appears as coins, paper, or figures on a screen, is at its essence an idea, a spiritual substance that takes whatever form is required. When we speak words of prosperity, we are drawing from that invisible reservoir, commanding substance to take the shape of supply in our lives. But the key lies in speaking not as one who hopes, but as one who knows. There is a world of difference between saying, "I hope money comes to me," and declaring with gratitude, "I give thanks that wealth now flows to me in avalanches of abundance, under grace, in perfect ways." The former is tinged with doubt. The latter is a decree backed by faith. The universe does not respond to wishful thinking, but to authoritative words spoken with belief. Some may say, "How can simply speaking words change my bank account?" And yet, have you not noticed how words shape moods, influence others, alter your very body? A word of anger can break a heart, and a word of kindness can heal it. If words can do this to people, why would they not also direct the invisible substance of wealth? For it is the same law at work. The spoken word is vibration, and vibration calls to itself its own. Words of abundance vibrate on the frequency of wealth, and wealth must answer. Gratitude within the word magnifies its power. When you give thanks before you see the money, you prove your faith in the unseen. Faith is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. By giving thanks, you act as though the good has already arrived, and by spiritual law, it must hurry to meet you. Gratitude is the magnet, and the spoken word is the command. Together, they form an unbreakable formula for prosperity. But remember, the word must be spoken once with faith, and then released. Do not pull up the seed by wondering if it has sprouted. Speak, give thanks, and then walk forward in joy, acting as though all your needs are already met. When the temptation to worry comes, replace it with thanksgiving. When the shadow of doubt whispers, answer with the decree of abundance. Hold to your word, and your word will hold you. Thus, the spoken word is not a mere sound but a spiritual decree, setting into motion the unseen forces that shape destiny. Speak wealth with faith, and wealth must appear. For as surely as night follows day, what you decree in spirit must be made flesh in your world. Faith is the unseen hand that moves mountains, and without it no prayer, no affirmation, no decree has power. It is faith that gives life to words, turning them from idle sounds into creative commands. Many people speak words of prosperity, yet their hearts are heavy with doubt, and so their words return empty. Faith is the difference. To say, "I give thanks that wealth now flows to me," with a heart clouded by disbelief, is to plant a seed in barren soil, but to speak it with unwavering confidence is to plant in fertile ground, where the harvest must appear in its season. Faith is not hoping, it is knowing. Faith does not ask how, for it trusts that the way will be revealed. It does not waver at appearances, for it sees beyond what the eyes show. Faith says, "Though I see no money in my purse, I know the supply is already mine in the invisible, and it shall appear at the appointed time. This faith is not blind, it is built upon the eternal truth that there is a divine supply, endless and inexhaustible, flowing like a river through the universe. Every need is already provided for. There is no lack in spirit, no poverty in the divine mind. What we call lack is only the shadow of our disbelief, the reflection of our fear. But when faith rises, the shadow dissolves, and supply flows as naturally as water seeks its course. Money is not earned by toil alone, it is attracted by faith, by alignment with the divine law of abundance. To one who believes, channels open, doors appear, opportunities unfold, and money comes in ways that are often unexpected and always perfect. Hand in hand with faith walks gratitude. Gratitude is the golden key that unlocks the storehouse of heaven. To give thanks before the blessing appears is the highest form of faith. It is saying to the universe, I know it is already done, and I rejoice in it. Gratitude shifts the atmosphere around us. It dissolves fear and magnetizes good. A grateful heart cannot remain in lack, for gratitude is a song that calls forth abundance. When you give thanks for money already received, you multiply it. When you give thanks for money not yet visible, you hasten its arrival. Gratitude is the language of abundance, and the universe answers it swiftly. Therefore, live in the spirit of thanksgiving. Do not wait until the purse is full or the debt is paid to give thanks. Thank the divine supply now. Thank the invisible substance now. Thank the opportunities, the favor, the wealth already on its way. Walk through each day in the joy of gratitude, and you will see doors open where once there were walls. For faith sets the law in motion, and gratitude seals it with certainty. Together, they form the perfect magnet for riches, the unshakable foundation of prosperity. And so, believe, give thanks, and prepare to receive. For the wealth of the universe is yours under grace in perfect ways. Every thought we think and every word we speak sets a law in motion, for the universe is like a mirror, reflecting back to us what we put forth. If one continually entertains fear, doubt, and worry, life cannot help but reflect more of the same. Fear draws to itself that which is feared, and worry plants seeds of struggle that later appear as unwanted harvest. Yet the law is merciful, for it allows us to choose again. At every moment, we are given the power to substitute one thought for another, one word for another. The law of substitution is a key that frees us from the chains of limitation. We cannot hold both fear and faith at the same time. We must release one to embrace the other. When a fearful thought enters the mind, we need not fight it. Instead, we replace it with a word of truth, and the shadow disappears before the light. Suppose the mind whispers, I cannot pay my bills, I do not have enough. To dwell on such a thought is to create more lack. But when you substitute the word of abundance, I give thanks that supply now flows to me in perfect ways, you cancel the fear and sow a seed of prosperity. Fear cannot stand where gratitude is spoken. Doubt cannot survive where faith-filled words are declared. The spoken word of truth is stronger than the lie of appearances, for appearances change, but truth remains eternal. It is important to understand that substitution requires vigilance. The mind, left unchecked, will wander into old habits, repeating words of fear learned from childhood, from society, from the world's constant cry of lack. But each time the thought of limitation arises, you have the choice to substitute, and with each substitution, you retrain the mind until faith becomes the natural state and doubt a stranger. The practice may seem simple, but it is mighty, for the universe responds instantly to the vibration of the word you choose. This law of substitution is like a gardener pulling weeds and planting flowers. If you allow weeds of fear to grow unchecked, they will choke out the blossoms of abundance. But if you replace each weed with a seed of prosperity, Soon your garden will flourish with beauty and plenty. And so it is with words. Each word of fear removed, each word of faith spoken, transforms the garden of your life. The power is always in your tongue. Life and death, wealth and poverty, are in the words you speak daily. You cannot expect to reap prosperity if your conversation is filled with complaints and fear. But if you make it your practice to substitute, to speak abundance in place of lack, gratitude in place of worry, faith in place of doubt, then the universe must respond in kind. For it is law. Therefore, guard your words and watch your thoughts. When fear whispers, answer with truth. When doubt knocks, let gratitude reply. And soon the words of abundance you speak will take root and bear fruit, until your whole life blossoms with wealth, joy, and unshakable peace. Expectation is a powerful magnet, drawing to us the very conditions we anticipate. Life always meets us at the level of our faith and expectation. When we expect little, we receive little. When we expect delay, disappointment, or lack, the universe simply reflects back the picture we are holding in mind. But when we expect abundance, joy, and success, then by spiritual law, those things must appear. Expectation is not wishful thinking. It is a confident assurance that what is decreed has already been granted in the unseen and is now moving swiftly into the visible. To expect is to prepare. You cannot say, I expect wealth, and yet continue to prepare for poverty. To truly expect prosperity is to act as though it were already yours. If you are expecting a guest, you make ready their place, you set the table, you open the door, you make welcome. In the same way, when you expect riches, you prepare in joy, in gratitude, in openness to receive. This preparation may be mental, emotional, or practical. It may be clearing away fear, releasing debts of resentment, or even making space in your life for the new supply to enter. Many people speak affirmations of abundance, but their hearts still expect struggle. They say, I give thanks for money, but deep within they look only for bills and hardship. Such divided expectation cannot bring forth prosperity, for a house divided against itself cannot stand. True expectation aligns thought, word, and action in harmony. It is saying, I know my good is coming, and then moving forward with readiness to receive it. Consider the farmer who plants seed in the soil. He does not wonder if a harvest might come. He expects it. He waters, he tends, he clears the weeds, for he knows the seed is alive beneath the ground. In the same way, when you have spoken the word of prosperity, you must expect its harvest. Do not dig up the seed with doubt. Do not stare at the soil in impatience. Instead, tend the ground of your mind with gratitude and faith, and live in expectation that the supply is already on its way. Expectation also opens the channels through which supply can reach you. When you walk through life expecting good, you see opportunities where others see obstacles. You hear guidance where others hear noise. You meet people with a light in your eyes, and they in turn are drawn to bless you. Expectation changes the atmosphere around you. It shifts your vibration to one of readiness, and the universe answers to that readiness. To expect wealth is to honor the divine law of abundance, to declare that you are ready to receive what has always been yours by right of consciousness. Do not say, someday it will come. Say, it is here now, unfolding in perfect ways. And then walk forward as though you have already received, for in truth you have. The unseen supply is simply finding its perfect channel to appear. Therefore, expect largely, prepare joyfully, and receive gratefully. For the law of expectancy never fails, and the universe delights to fulfill the confident heart. Nothing blocks the flow of wealth more than clinging, grasping, or worrying. The universe is a river of endless supply, but when we clutch at it with fear, the current cannot reach us. Release is the golden law that opens the channels and allows the good to flow in perfect ways. To release is to trust, to let go of the burden of anxiety, and rest in the assurance that supply is certain. Many people speak words of abundance but still hold on tightly to fear of loss, fear of the future, or fear of how the good will arrive. This clutching closes the door. Only when we release can the door swing wide and the avalanche of abundance rush in. Release means giving up control of the how and the when. It is not your work to figure out the channels through which money will come. That is the business of the divine. Your work is only to declare the word, to give thanks, and to step aside in trust. Worry is an act of interference. It is as though you planted a seed and then kept digging it up to see if it was growing. The seed cannot sprout under such treatment. In the same way, your decree cannot manifest while you worry, doubt, and try to force its unfolding. To release is to let the seed remain in the soil of faith, knowing the harvest is certain. Release also means letting go of resentment, bitterness, and unforgiveness. These are heavy chains that bind the flow of good. When you hold resentment against another, you are tied to them with cords of negative energy, and those cords choke your prosperity. The law of release calls you to forgive, not for their sake, but for your own freedom. To forgive is to cut the cord, to free yourself, and to allow the river of abundance to flow unhindered. Wealth cannot come to a heart filled with grudges, for grudges crowd out gratitude. There is also the release of attachment to money itself. When you desire money with desperation, you create resistance. The very grasping pushes it away. But when you release attachment and shift your focus to trust, joy, and gratitude, money comes naturally, like a guest who feels welcome. To release is to say, I give thanks that supply comes to me now, under grace, in perfect ways, and I let go of all concern as to how. Such words open every channel and dissolve every obstacle. Release is an act of faith. It is saying, I have spoken my word, and I now rest in the certainty that it is done. It is walking forward in peace, knowing the universe is working behind the scenes to arrange everything for your highest good. To release is not to abandon your desire, but to place it lovingly in the hands of the infinite, confident that it will return multiplied and perfected. Therefore, practice release daily. Let go of fear, let go of resentment, let go of attachment. The freer you are, the more easily wealth finds its way to you. For release clears the channels, and through those open channels, the abundance of the universe must surely flow. Life is circulation. Wherever there is flow, there is health, strength, and increase. Wherever there is hoarding, fear, and stagnation, there is decay. Money, like the blood in the body, must move to keep its life. When it is received with joy and released with faith, it returns multiplied. The miser, who clutches every coin with fear, soon finds that his hoard dries up, for he has blocked the river of supply. But the one who receives gladly and gives freely is like a fountain, always refreshed, always replenished, always overflowing. For what you send forth with love must come back to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. To receive is as holy as to give. Many turn away blessings because they feel unworthy, or they shrink back from generosity offered to them. Yet refusal shuts the door. Every gift, whether large or small, is a channel of divine supply. To say thank you and receive with grace is to honor the giver and the source from which the gift flows. When you receive joyfully, you declare to the universe, I am open to abundance. And when you give joyfully, you declare, I trust the law of replenishment. Both are necessary to keep the river moving, for inflow and outflow are one. Circulation does not mean waste or extravagance. It means releasing money without fear, knowing that what is spent or given returns in perfect ways. When you pay a bill, give thanks that you had the money to pay it, and declare that it circulates back to you multiplied. When you give to another, give with love and gratitude, and know that you have set in motion a current that must return to you enriched. Many give with reluctance, holding tightly even as they release. Such giving carries no power, for it is poisoned by fear, but giving with joy plants seeds of prosperity that must bloom in their season. There is no lack in circulation, only increase. Consider the ocean. Though rivers pour endlessly into it, the ocean never overflows. Though it releases water to the sky, it is never diminished. In the same way, When you keep the current of money moving with faith and gratitude, you cannot be depleted. The more you give, the more you make space to receive. The more you receive, the more you are able to give. This is the eternal rhythm of abundance. Therefore, do not cling in fear, nor refuse in pride. Let money flow to you and through you as a servant of divine supply. Use it wisely, share it freely, bless it constantly. Each coin, each note, each transaction is a carrier of energy, and when you release it with love, it will surely return on wings of increase. Circulation is the law of life, and when you live by it, you will find yourself always prospered, always supplied, and always surrounded by the evidence of divine abundance.